Hello and welcome to Easter Road and Hibs TV in what has been a really busy week here for the club. Today is our third game in just 8 days as we return to cinch Premiership action against Dundee. And what a week it's been. A semi-final place secured for a game at Hampden in the Viaplay Cup and 2 wins out of the last 2 games. Can we make it 3 today? Well, we will preview today's game. I'm delighted to be joined by our Director of Football, Brian McDermott. Brian, how are you?
Good morning, Matt. How are we? I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Obviously, you've kind of been out of action for the last few weeks after your hip hop. How are you feeling now? Are you close to being back to full health?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting. I want to be on the bench for the Celtic game. I'll be ready. No, I'm good actually. I'm 3 weeks today after the operation, so I've been away for 3 weeks in essence. So it's nice to be back.
Yeah, there's been a lot that's happened during that period, and just before you're up, you were the leading role in terms of bringing Nick Montgomery to the club as head coach. Obviously, for that process, what was that like for you? Because I think, in truth, the appointment of him and the change in manager happened a lot sooner than probably what everyone thought. Yeah,
so fortunately, everything was in place before I travelled to get my operation.
Yeah.
From a selfish point of view, I was happy with that because I put the operation off a couple of times. But personally, I was delighted that we've got Nick and Sergio and Miguel, and I think they're absolutely the right fit for our club. And he was the one. For me, he was the one that I personally wanted. And obviously our owner Ian Gordon, the Gordon family, and Ben Kensel and the board, they all spoke to Nick, had the conversations with him, and he was the one for them. And that's important, that everyone bought into him as a guy and as a manager, and I believe we've made an excellent choice.
Yeah, you obviously said he was the one. When we were speaking earlier in the week, you said sometimes you just get a feel for it, almost like a striker gets a feel for where he should be in the box. But in terms of making him the right fit for the football club, what were you looking for?
Yeah, and listen, for the sakes of an interview, it's not particularly very good just to say, well, actually, because that was it felt right.
Yeah.
Obviously it felt right, but there's obviously a lot to it. One of the first things when I spoke to Nick was he spoke about the person first, and then the player. And he cares. He really cares about the people that we've got at our club. I knew that he would relate to the fans that we've got, our fans. I knew he would relate to them. The way that he plays, Central Coast Mariners, what he did at Central Coast Mariners was incredible. They won. He was really, really successful. The staff that he was bringing to the football club, really, really good staff. A collaborative man. Wants to be involved with the community, wants to be involved on a daily, he works really, really hard. There's so many good things about this man. I've known him a long time. I've known him since 2005-06 when our Reading teams come up against his teams at Sheffield United, and he was right in the middle of the war, in a good way, and he was at Sheffield United for 10 years, then at Central Coast Mariners for sort of 7 years. So he's a guy who stays, he's a loyal man. So look, the bottom line is I feel really, really pleased that we got him. It was complicated, really complicated situation, but we managed to get it over the line, and I personally am delighted, and I know the board are delighted, and Ian and Ben are delighted. So let's see where the journey takes us.
Yeah, the loyalty element of that I think is really important as well, because he's a young head coach. He's had a lot of success, obviously, in Australia, and he'll want to build something here, won't he?
Yeah, he will do, and I think that's what he's looking. And you can see what's happening in front of your own eyes. I mean, I play a certain system. I used to play 4-4-2, but then I look at what he's doing within that system, and I'm like, wow, it's great. For me, I can learn. I'm watching and I'm learning, and I'm really enjoying what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And I think the fans can see what he's trying to do as well, which is great. And the players are really enjoying themselves.
Yeah, just there is a lot of noise going on in the background, but we'll carry on. It's just we're preparing for the match day. Obviously, since he's come in, he's had an immediate impact.
Yeah.
There seems to be a really strong affinity towards him from the players, from the supporters as well. They're really kind of understanding the identity he wants to bring to the football club. Did you expect him to have such a great impact so early on?
Well, I haven't got any expectation. It's not about expectation. It's about the most important thing is getting him over the line, and then getting him to the football club, and then getting him settled and getting his staff settled. But he just hit the ground running. He just started to just do his work, and that's what he does. He does his work on a daily basis, and he works really, really hard. And he's ambitious. He's got great desire. So yeah, did I expect it? I didn't really think about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I thought about. I just wanted him to get on with what he had to do, and that's what he's done. He doesn't talk about it. He just does his stuff on a daily basis, and I can see it at the training ground. I can see how things evolve, and I can see the relationships that he's creating with the players, and I can see the relationship that the players are creating with the fans now. And for me, it's always about that. You collaborate with the manager, the staff, the players, the fans, and it all comes together as a collective. And when you can get that, you've got something going, and that's kind of what I'm seeing at this moment in time.
Yeah, you absolutely can, and that was evident as well on Wednesday evening as we beat St Mirren to progress into the semi-finals of the Viaplay Cup. Let's just have a quick look back at that win. Oh, obviously, Brian, you were at that game, the St Mirren one. You were watching from the director's box. How pleased were you with what you had to see on the grass?
Yeah, I thought the first half was really tactical. I thought it was really a tactical game, and we went in 1-0 down. But I didn't look at that and think, oh, this is like really not good news for us. We went 1-0 down. I was very, very calm, and I just had the sense of I know what's coming, and I knew what was coming. The first 45 minutes to 60 minutes of a game generally is all about the tactics, and then the game opens out. And once the game opens out with the players that we've got on the pitch, I know what's going to happen, and it happened. And we got 4 goals. And we got ourselves through, so we were absolutely delighted. And like Dylan had like one opportunity, and what a fantastic finish! Like a top class finish. I think he's had 6 opportunities.
Yeah.
He scored 5.
I was going to say, let's talk about him then, because like you say, six opportunities, scored 5 goals. He's made a really, really good start to his career here. You had a big task in the summer in terms of replacing or trying to replace Kevin Nisbet, who scored a lot of goals during his time at Easter Road. What for you made Dylan Venti the right man?
So Dylan Venti, I've known since he was at Feyenoord, and Robin van Persie was playing there. He then went to Roda to make his name, and he scored like 44 goals in 70 odd games. Ian Gordon had followed him for a year and a half, knew him really, really well. We spoke about Dylan, Ian and I. We spoke about what he brings to the table with our analysis group, our recruitment staff. I went to watch him live, and we got the deal done. And I thought when I went there, the chances of getting that deal done was about 5%.
Yeah.
And as the day went on, I met his agent. I sat with his agent. I watched him in the game. I met him after the game. I met their sporting director. And we managed to get that deal done club to club, I think, within 24 hours.
Wow.
We then brought Dylan across with his girlfriend. He then disappeared and went back again, and I was panicking. And then he came back again. The process was really, really complicated. There was probably 5-6 teams he could have gone to. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, Dylan, this is the club for you.
Yeah.
And the reason I said it, because it's the truth. And I honestly believe that it was, I wouldn't have said it if I didn't think it was the truth. It was. And I knew that it was absolutely right for him. I told him how many times Ian had seen him, Ian Gordon, our owner. I told him how much he wanted him. I told him how brilliant he'd be with our fans. And everything. He loved the city. I met his mum and dad, really lovely people. And I literally man-to-man marked him for about 2 days. And I wasn't letting him out the door until he signed.
Yeah.
And I got a good relationship with his agent. And I was delighted for everybody. I was delighted for Ian when we got the deal done, and I know how much work he did, and Calvin, our analyst, and Eddie May, and all the people that make these things happen. Because to do a deal like that is a lot of work, and all of these guys, they deserve so much credit. Derek, Ben, to get the deal over the line. One deal takes an awful lot of effort.
Yeah.
You know, I could go into so many. Every single deal that we've done over the summer, we did nine deals. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot of hard work, and credit to everyone at the football club for getting those deals done.
Yeah, and obviously in that St Mirren game, you could see the fluidity within our front four. But one thing I really wanted to touch upon was the character of the players. Obviously, the head coach made 3 changes at 2-1. 30 seconds almost, or a minute after that, it went to 2-2. At that point, it could have been quite easy for a team or the players to crumble, but we saw the exact opposite, didn't we?
Yeah, so the manager is fearless. He goes to win football matches.
Yeah.
He has no fear of losing football matches. He tries to win each game, which I really like. You know, there's a difference between trying not to get beat and actually trying to win the game. Totally different mindset. He made a change to 2. Rory Whittaker was on the pitch, young Rory, and he made a mistake.
Yeah.
And they scored 2-2. Now at that point, the team could have gone under. Rory could have gone under. Next action, Paul Hanlon played a fantastic ball into Rory Whittaker. Brilliant piece of skill by Rory Whittaker, and he popped the ball out into a wide area, and we score. And that tells you something about Rory Whittaker.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to actually recover from a mistake, because we all make mistakes, who cares?
Yeah.
And then we go and score 3-2, and then we win the game 4-2, and Boyler does what Boyler does. He's a special player, special talent, and yeah, I really enjoyed the night. I enjoyed the whole game, and I'm enjoying watching how this is panning out.
Yeah, I think everyone is. Well, we'll just go and hear now from our head coach, Nick Montgomery, who previewed today's game. Nick, obviously it's been a really busy week so far, but fantastic results and a chance, obviously, on Saturday to make it 3 wins in 8 days.
Yeah, look, we always look at the next game. To go back on the St Mirren game, it was an opportunity to get to a semi-final. So I said after the game, really proud of the team's effort for that. You know, but that's now in a distant memory, and all we've been focusing on since that night was Dundee on Saturday. So yeah, massive game, and it's going to be against tough opposition. So we don't expect anything less.
It's been a really heavy load on the players, obviously, this week, especially with the amount of information they've been having to take on board as well. But I suppose on the flip side to that, it's a real benefit of having a good squad that you can make changes if and when you need to.
Yeah, as I said, it's always never about the individual, it's always about the team, and we've got a really good team. We've got strength in depth, we've got mostly two players per position, all fighting each other for the spot in the first team, but fighting in a good way, you know, supporting, pushing each other. But I think you've seen the last couple of games, the players that we've managed to bring off the bench in times when we needed a bit more energy, a bit more power, or to change it, and that's something that a good squad has. So for me, it's irrelevant who starts. You know, the subs are sometimes just as important, if not more important, depending on how the game's going. So yeah, I'll pick a team tomorrow and a bench that I feel is going to be able to get the result.
How conscious have you had to be this week in terms of stopping some of the players almost from doing extra stuff after training?
Yeah, I'm always one for extras, but you know, when you have the 3 games in a week, you know, you have to top up the boys that possibly haven't played as much, but the ones that have, you know, pull them back a little bit. You know, like Boyley's always trying to sprint around and take free kicks and shooting, and I had to stop him from doing that today. But yeah, you want the players as fresh as possible going into the game, because ultimately the game's the most important. But it gives a good opportunity this week to review the St Mirren game and work on things that we still need to improve on.
Yeah, obviously Dundee this weekend, they've had a good start to the season. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, I think they had a good start to the season. So did St Mirren. You know, we didn't, but now, well, we're looking forward to progressing and pushing on with this momentum from the last couple of results. So again, you know, we'll give them full respect. You know, but it's ultimately it's about us and what we do and how we approach the game. But we'll approach the game full of confidence, but also know that, you know, we can't be complacent because they're a good side.
Yeah, just finally, I wanted to touch upon the Hibernian Community Foundation. Obviously, it's the Community Foundation game this weekend. I know since the first day you were in the building, you kind of threw yourself in the whole club and you're immediately on the kilt walk. How important do you think it is that the club holds games like this?
I think it's really important, speaking to everyone that day on the kilt walk and understanding how important it is for the club, to have a foundation, as well set up as our community one. I think it's great that everyone gets behind and supports it, and yeah, really looking forward to doing work in the foundation moving forward.
Fantastic. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Brian, we heard from Nick Montgomery just then, and he was praising the depth that he has in his squad. Almost 2 players in each position that's fighting for a place out there. Just in terms of squad modelling at the start of the season, we spoke about the number of players that have come in. What do we aim to have? Is it that 2 for every position and a young player coming through? What's your model?
Yeah, 2 players for each position would be perfect. One of the things we spoke about with Nick was, how do you see the squad? Are you happy with what we've put together? And he was delighted, absolutely. He said, no, we can work with the squad that we've got. He was absolutely delighted. He spoke about each and every single player, and he talked about the positives in each and every single player, and what he thinks that they can achieve at our club. And then we've got Rory Whittaker. I saw Rory Whittaker on day 1. I thought, wow.
Yeah.
And then Nick saw him against Rangers, and he puts him in the squad. And he doesn't just put him in the squad; he puts him on the pitch. And fair play to him. The boy's 16, and he spoke about that to me. He said about, I'm going to put Rory Whittaker in the squad, and if I get a chance, I'm going to put him on, and he did. So he talks about it and he does it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want, but it's not in a way that we're just going to he's just going to put players in because they're young players.
Yeah.
If he feels they're ready, they'll go in. So from our perspective, and for any young boy who wants to, or young girl, anyone who wants to come to our club, what a thing that could be. Someone like Rory going at 16 years of age, you'd like to think they come to us before they go somewhere else, because they'll get a chance now.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of obviously today's game, 2 wins building up to this one, a positive start to Nick Montgomery's life here at Hibs. How important is that momentum going into today's game, especially when a new manager is through the building?
Well, it's great we've won 2 games, but once again, straight after the game, we've won. We got into the semi-final, and that's great. It's great for our fans. It's great for all of us to go and have a day out at Hampden where we want to try and get to a final. But that's gone. The only thing that matters, we can talk about philosophies, we can talk about whatever you like, is win the next game.
Yeah.
So the next game, as soon as the game was over, the guys, Nick and the staff, they started talking about assessing the game from St Mirren, which they did. They were up till 3:30 in the morning doing that. And they assessed it, and I watched the assessment of the game, which was excellent. And then they moved on to Dundee. And all we're doing now is we're living in the moment we've got. It's whatever time it is now, and we're ready to go against Dundee.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. The only thing that matters, it's not what's gone, it's not what's to come, it's today. And this is today's game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will be another difficult test. There's never any easy games, is there, in Scotland?
No, I was a manager I've done a few games as a manager. I had 1 easy game in my life, I think. We were 6-0 up after about 60 minutes, and I thought, we'll probably win now. And it's like, you don't get that very often.
Yeah.
You don't get that. And, you always, as a manager, you've got to be prepared. And I think the most important thing is make sure you're prepared. Make sure you get your processes right. And look, at the end of it, you're going to have an outcome. You're going to win, lose or draw. But as long as you're prepared, as long as you've got a plan and everything you're trying to do, you're trying to work it out. Some days you have bad days. That's life. We move on, whatever happens. But it's always about the next game. Win the next game.
Yeah, absolutely is. Well, we're just going to go to a quick commercial break now, but make sure you stay with us because we've got 2 special guests coming to join us from the Hibernian Community Foundation, and we'll hear more from the man right next to me, Brian McDermott. We'll see you soon.
When it comes to things that are exclusive to Scotland, we all have a thing or two to say.
They're amazing. They blew me away.
Superb.
Excellent customer service from start to finish.
First class service every time.
10 out of 10.
a fantastic sales exec.
Nothing was too much trouble.
Outstanding.
I wouldn't go anywhere else now.
Just some of the things that have been said about us. Macklin Motors, exclusive to Scotland.
I'm getting some work done. Enough of that. I am totally winning! Oh, and relaxing.
Here's your order.
With a coffee, thank you. I love this film. I'm doing all of this on my way to Mum's. Because it's all possible on an LNER train.
Next stop, London.
And I'm almost there.
Welcome back to Hibs TV as we continue to build up to today's cinch Premiership game against Dundee. We're just going to park the football just for a second and talk about something that's very special that's happening around today's game. Today's game is the Hibernian Community Foundation matchday, and to talk to me about this, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Daljit Singh, a director for the Hibernian Community Foundation, and Anne Brown, the head of para football at the Hibernian Community Foundation. Daljit, I just wanted to start with you. Obviously, the Community Foundation has made great strides over the last 12 months. I think that's been clear for pretty much everyone to see. But for supporters that don't quite know what the Community Foundation are doing, the work we're doing in the local community, just give us a brief summary.
Yep. Well, essentially, Adam, we're here to help the community. That's what we do. Since the cost of living crisis last winter, we responded to that by turning the bars, the old bars behind the stand here, into a community hub space, and we're now serving 1,000 meals every month from this space. We're also reaching out to the wider members of the community, involving them in a range of activities, particularly elderly, single parents, people who are new to Edinburgh, bringing them in, organising social clubs, activities where they can get involved in, and it's a place to meet other people, because that's what community is about. And the last thing, of course, we organise football. Over 600 children every week playing football for the Community Foundation. Not just children as well, we've got walking football for the elderly, and we've got women's recreational football going on as well, so a lot going on with the members of the community.
Yeah, there absolutely is, and obviously, Anne, as well, one of the big things that we've launched and announced over the last couple of months is Team United coming across to the Hibernian Community Foundation. Just firstly, talk to us about what Team United is for people that don't know, and then how big of a step it is that's been taken on by the Hibernian Community Foundation.
Sure. So Team United was started by myself in 2017, basically out of the need for something for young people with autism and neurodiverse conditions. There's a lot of inequality in the game at that time, so I decided to start Team United. Started off with 12 young people, developed a programme, a pathway, and now we've built it up to an Autism Football Association, 250 kids playing every week, links with 18 clubs. So it's all about breaking down the social barriers to participation in football, which a lot of young people with autism face. And if you think about football as one of the most socially challenging sports going, it's not a natural sport that young people with autism would take part in. However, they want to in all sorts of different levels, and that's what we did. We actually looked to see what could we do to allow that participation and for that to grow, and that's where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see on the screen now, all the supporters can see the kilt walk that it was great to see so many people involved with the Hibernian Community Foundation take part in. You also saw Nick Montgomery, I think a day into the job, taking part. Daljit, how great is it that there is this link between the Community Foundation and the football club, and that's emphasised with all the activities that's going on around today's game?
This is massive for us, Adam. It's all about getting people's awareness of what the Community Foundation does every day. So we are using today to allow people to see that, because if we can inspire more people to know about what we do, they can come and help us deliver some of the services. So those community lunches, which I mentioned, only possible due to an army of volunteers which we have. So if you're watching this and you've got some spare time on your hands, do get in touch and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anna, just touching on kind of Team United again, I think they're coming out at half time in front of the crowd today.
They're not. They're actually going to be in the stands. Some in the West Stand, some in the famous five. So the team are going to be here. Hopefully their photographs are going to be on the big screen. They'll sort of participate as much as they possibly can. But just delighted to be here and to be part of something as big as Hibernian is.
Fantastic. And just finally, Daljit, if supporters watching this ahead of today's game, or they want to get involved in donating to the Community Foundation, how would they do so?
Yeah, that's quite easy. You can visit the website, hiberniancf.org, or of course visit the club website, because there's a lot on social media with directions to how people can donate this weekend. So you can also text the word Hibs to 70470, and that would be a £5 donation.
Fantastic. Well, there's loads of activities going on around today's game, and one man that has a particular soft spot for the Hibernian Community Foundation is our number one, David Marshall. My colleague Gavin Rittu caught up with him.
David, the third game in the space of a week, I imagine it's a happy camp at the moment given the recent results.
Yeah, it's picked up obviously since the new managers came in, and as you say, it's a chance to win 3 games in a week. It's been a tough start to the season with the amount of European games we've had thrown in there, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, but a chance to end this week in a major high.
How much confidence have the lads taken from the last few matches, not only with the results but with the performances as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think I started up at Aberdeen when Dave was in charge. We played really well that day. The game plan was really good, and we stifled Aberdeen. I thought we more than deserved to win. And since the manager and the staff have come in, we've performed well. We've conceded a couple of sloppy goals at Kilmarnock, but that aside, I think the players are enjoying it, the fans are enjoying it, and ultimately we've picked up the results that we've been wanting.
Yeah, you mentioned the new gaffer and the staff as well. How have you found playing with that staff? Because I know the style's changed a bit and you've had to play out from the back as well. How have you found that?
Yeah, it's been a big change, but we've worked really hard. I think we've had probably 1 or 2 days off in that 3 week spell when we needed that, because we needed to get the detail into the group and find out what was asked of us, and get up to the standard that the gaffer and the staff demand. So it's been good, it's been challenging, but I think you can see even so early into the gaffer's reign that it's reaping rewards, and hopefully we can get better and kick on for that. As you mentioned, the style there, it's been a change, but it's good. The detail's good. It's really easy for the lads to follow, and we know exactly what we're doing, and long may it continue.
Looking ahead to Saturday then, what type of challenge do you expect from Dundee?
Tough. Again, we're coming off the back of a midweek game, so they'll be fresh. They'll be looking to take advantage of that extra games that we've had earlier in the season. And they've had a good start. They've been the back a winning habit of getting promoted, so promoted teams have got that bounce. And they've put a points tally together that I think they'll be happy with at this stage of the season and had some big results. So a very tough task and we'll need to be ready for it.
Just finally then, off the field, Saturday's game is dedicated to the Hibernian Community Foundation, who became the club's official charity earlier this week. I know it's a charity close to your heart and the work you do with them. How important is that game for them?
It is, yeah. I think it's a recognition of the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously this week the club announcing that it's the club's official charity is great, and to have a match specifically Easter Road to raise awareness for that is great. As I say, a hell of a lot I'm fortunate enough to be involved in it and be on the board, so I know how much hard work goes into it, and I know how well it's received within the community. So yeah, it'll be good to see, and obviously a big occasion for the club and the foundation tomorrow, and it's great to raise that awareness.
Nice one, David. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Well, we heard from David Marshall just then. I'm delighted to say that Brian McDermott has joined us just to finish off the show. Brian, one of the points that David Marshall touched upon just then was the new style of play, and probably the biggest thing that supporters have noticed is the change in our goal kicks. Obviously a centre half passing it to David Marshall, ultimately to get us up the pitch. It's been a little bit of a change, and that's something that will take a little bit of time to really come to fruition.
Yeah, I find that interesting as well, because we're all learning what's happening. You know, we watch what's going on, and sometimes we get anxious to put the ball up the pitch. And actually, you know, when David gets it, he's passing it somewhere for a reason, to get somewhere else, to go into possibly into a wide area to advance with the ball. You know, sometimes, but the options in front of him are good. So he's got a lot of options and little different angles out to play. So the nuance of the system is really interesting for me. I'm really enjoying just watching what's unfolding. And what I thought the other day against St Mirren, I thought the fans really bought into what was going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes we didn't go forward, we went back to go forward, and then we went into a wide area to go forward. And there was no sort of grumbling about, oh, let's get it forward. It was, they saw what was going on. I felt that anyway, because that's how I was feeling. I was thinking, oh, we're going out there to go and do to get forward and to do what we have to do. So, yeah, and it's just about all of us learning about what's actually going on the pitch.
Yeah, and then obviously when there's 3 games in a week, there's 3 games in 8 days. There's going to be a significant load on the players. When I was speaking to Nick Montgomery, he was explaining they had to almost pull Dylan Venti and Martin Boyle off the training pitch and stop them from running around and doing extras, even though he loves them doing extras normally. I suppose this comes down or back round to having a really good squad.
Yeah, and listen, it's hard to keep Boiler still. You know, he wants to run and he wants to do his stuff, and you know, we're trying to make sure he's recovered and he's ready and he's well rested, and that's the same for all the players. And one of the hardest things to do, believe it or not, is to rest, because these guys want to be out there and they want to be training and they want to be playing. So yeah, you have to sort of just pull the reins on them sometimes, which is great. It's great that they want to do extras and they want to do their extra bit and in their training sessions. So look, you know, like you say, it's good to get a bit of momentum. We've got a bit of momentum, but the only show in town is the game today.
Yeah, absolutely is. And just finally, in terms of Dundee, obviously I think they've scored in every league game bar one, which was away at Celtic. It will be a difficult game out there, and we'll have to make sure we're right at it to get 3 points.
Yeah, and listen, all I know is the boys are prepared. They're ready. I've seen the presentations we did about Dundee. I've seen how we're going to play. I know what our team is. I've seen everything and all the work that's been done, all the processes that the staff have been through with the players, and that's what you do. And then the outcome's going to be the outcome. Look, we want to win. They want to win. Let's see what the outcome looks like. And you know, what I do know is there's a definite style and a definite way, and we're evolving as a team. And And for me, what's really, really important is that collaboration between what's going on the pitch and what goes on off the pitch, because the fans are so important to us, you know, and we're trying to make Easter Road a real fortress. And you know, and it's a great club. You know, I said that the other day. I was with this friend up in, and I just got back from where I was living, and I thought, it's a joy to be here. It's just, you know, and then to actually win that game and get into a semi-final now. It's just it's a really good atmosphere around the place, and I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, me too. You can certainly see a style of play evolving here at Hibernian and at Easter Road. Brian, thank you very much for joining us. And you can find all the details on how to donate to the Hibernian Community Foundation on the club website. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll make it 3 wins in 8 days.